Well, hello everyone. Welcome to another live stream of Let Us Reason. This is Fadi, and with me here, our dear sister Hatun, who kindly agreed to join me to just do another one of those shows that we will discuss a number of things related, of course, to the Quran and the variant text reading Qira'at. Among many other things. But I want to thank all of you who've been waiting here. It seemed like some of you are experiencing some issues with YouTube. I mean, I can't really tell at my end, of course, but one way or another, hopefully, you will be able to watch this after the conclusion of this show. Sister Hatun, thank you so much for being here with us.
Peace of Christ be with you, brother. How are you?
I'm doing fine. Thank you so much for taking the time to be with us. If you don't mind me asking, and I know I sought your permission to do so, give us a quick, brief background about what exactly is happening lately at the Speaker's Corner, especially against you, and the most recent development that I heard about yesterday, that you were even forced to relocate, actually.
I wouldn't say forced, but gently forced. Actually, not much happening at Speaker's Corner because in England we've got lockdown. So last Sunday there was no Speaker's Corner because you apparently don't go out for the gatherings. But before that, there was gathering at Speaker's Corner, having debates and discussions with Muslims, Muslim missionaries, or try to have debates and discussions. And main focus was from me and my team is talking about the holes in the narrative. I think one of the things Muslims made a mistake on publicly expressing that there are holes in the standard narrative when it comes to different Arabic Qurans. So I've been trying to ask that question at Speaker's Corner, and then also I'm guessing you've been following on the social media and on the news. People are being killed. Simply they are showing the cartoons of Muhammad. And we did bring that up to Speaker's Corner to have debates and discussions on what is wrong with these pictures. It didn't go well. I say that it didn't go that well. So things are kind of has been kind of a bit tension since I think it was started in end of June, and then it went like something was happening like almost every Sunday. So yeah, right now we are just watching Muslim videos and laughing what they are saying about Quran. I can't remember what was your full question, but I'm not sure if I answered even.
Oh, no, that was part of it. Yeah, I mean, you answered part of it. And I mean, I guess my frustration here is that there is nothing in the Quran that says that you cannot really draw any prophet's picture regardless. But our Muslim friends somehow, they want to elevate, their own prophet above everybody else. And they want to also force everyone else to adhere to their own interpretation and their own rules. And I told people this before. I said, Sharia law is in your town already. And they laugh at me like, oh, no, we don't have Sharia. I said, okay, well, go ahead and draw a cartoon of Muhammad and see what happens. Sharia law is already there. I mean, people don't get it. It's like it's there, like it or not. And I'm not really so sure why. I mean, you saw the president of France lately. He received a lot of pushback when he tried to stand his grounds, which he has every right really to do so. But sadly, it wasn't accepted the way it should have been taken. Today, I read in a news that in Jeddah, I guess the French consulate was attacked, or at least someone from the consulate was like doing a ceremony, I guess, in memory of World War II, I believe, and there was a bomb or something to that extent. All of it because of this.
I find it's a bit sad, in a sense. It's just a picture, first of all. No one knows like what Muhammad looks like, and I don't know why when I show the pictures, people simply come to the conclusion that's Muhammad, even though it is drawn in the intention of Muhammad. But I think, yes, you are right. Sharia is taken over and we haven't even noticed it. And we intentionally don't want to notice it. And the moment people draw the picture, he's like, Muhammad has become so untouchable. The moment you say anything about him, suddenly you get to see people's head has been chopped off. I find it's very much sad. And it becomes more sad when you cannot talk about it. For me, I must say, actually, I'm a bit not sure if I would suggest someone to go and show the picture of Muhammad to see if Sharia taken over or not, because I see there are consequences of it. I do not advise that to individuals. But it is in a stage, I think with Speaker's Corner, there is something uniqueness at Speaker's Corner. So I can say at Speaker's Corner whatever I want to say. I can even like accuse Queen at Speaker's Corner. But one of the things has been happening is we've been talking about whatever we say, we make sure we back it up, because end of the day, as a Christian, I need to be faithful to my scripture and then keep people accountable for what they believe. I cannot just go to Speaker's Corner and say whatever I want to say. I need to kind of use the sources. We do have freedom of speech at Speaker's Corner. There are the things I can say at Speaker's Corner. It will be okay, which I cannot say in the mosques. And a couple of years ago, when Dr. J. Smith was in UK at Speaker's Corner, we did take the pictures of Charlie Hebdo where Mohammed was drawn, and we talked about it because it was soon after their killing, and it was okay. So as the time goes on, Muslims are just becoming so sensitive. They are not questioning his actions. They are not questioning what he's done to humanity, how he taken away the value and dignity of humans and spreading hate, but they are so much upset about with the picture. Like recently I come to the conclusion probably they upset with picture because Muhammad, in the pictures, Muhammad doesn't have 6 packs, or Muhammad is drawn taller instead of he's supposed to be shorter. Probably that's why Muslims are so upset about it. I really just don't know. But all I can say, it is very much out of control. While Sharia is not officially taken over, England is known as United Kingdom. It is not known as Sharia London or something, Islamic Republic of England. It is not known like that yet, and only small amount of people, because they are so sensitive with the holes in their Quran, they are so sensitive with the pictures, suddenly things get out of control. I find that's a bit sad, and it is sad in a sense. People are justifying that, like people are justifying killing of a teacher because he wanted to have a discussion on, should we talk about these pictures? Is this freedom of expression or what it is? People are justifying that, yes, he deserved to be killed.
Yeah.
And people who are justifying that are not people who live in Pakistan, who doesn't have access to education or who never kind of had access to life, but people who are supporting and encouraging, justifying this are people who live like our next door village, or just people who live in the city where we live, who has access to check Google, who has access to critical thinking. They are justifying killing of teacher. And by definition, teachers are responsible to educate our next generation. By definition, our next generation needs to think critically so that they don't become people who makes decisions with their emotions, but they think, they reflect. In somehow, it's just out of control. And what's happening at Speaker's Corner is, I guess, in like I think it was back in July, I was almost dragged on the floor because I had a picture of Quran with the holes. In that time, I didn't have the physical Quran. It was just a picture of the Quran with the holes in it. I was removed from Speaker's Corner in the intention I was affecting the comforts of others. If you cannot handle, like, you go to the place in the debates and discussions, therefore you would expect there are people who simply going to disagree with you. If you can't handle it, just don't come. That's like basic knowledge. But people turn up there and then suddenly their feelings are being hurt. Why? Because a couple of weeks before that, their scholar told, oh, there are holes in the narrative, and now they're seeing a picture is made with the computer program and it has holes in it, shredded Quran with the holes in it. And I am the one who's been removed from the corner because I was affecting the people's feeling. And if that happens at Speaker's Corner, in the beginning I was just, oh, probably they just want to keep things calm. But as the time goes on, when Muslims sees, oh yeah, people can simply we can simply get rid of people because they hurt my feelings. And then it goes on, and then it goes on, and it goes on. And now it's just like, it's in a place where I had to leave the people who I was living with because I had a visit to my home. It's like police has been like kind of coming to me quite a lot last couple of months. And police visited me in 1 week 5 times. And they were not there like for 5 minutes visit, but they were there for like long time visits. And last week on Monday, I received a notification from police regarding my safety, which I've been getting quite a lot of them. Also, the people who live in the house, they received notification because of my activities, and what I'm saying at Speaker's Corner is putting their life in danger. And all I am saying at Speaker's Corner is Allah is false God, Muhammad is false prophet, and Quran is false book. As a Christian, by default, I believe that, but it seems when you verbalize it, it is not helpful. Just sad. So
Yeah, it definitely baffles me because the idea of the hole in the narrative actually was mentioned by Yasser Qadi, and he's absolutely correct. Yeah, I mean, and he's absolutely correct. He wasn't even joking when he said this, and he didn't say it in a demeaning way. He was talking like an academician. He says, oh, listen, you know, in the academic field, I mean, there are some things that we have to be aware of. I mean, that's all he said. I mean, he wasn't like mocking the issue. He wasn't disrespecting his book. And yet, you know the rest of the story. I mean, he was forced to, basically delete that portion. Delete the interview altogether. And then Hijab initially deleted just that portion. Then he deleted the whole thing. And now Qadi says that he want to slowly pull himself out of social media. I'm like, my goodness, wow. All of this over a comment that is actually real. It can be backed up by evidence.
It's because they hide the truth from other Muslims. They do not share the real stories with Muslims, and what they do is, if people don't hear about it, then if we don't talk about it, if we get rid of the videos, people still believe that there is only one Quran perfectly preserved, and we can get away with that however we want. And they think that's gonna happen, but like, I already know, just within last couple of actually, let me just check, because this week I've been reflecting on lots of things. And sorry, I'm just gonna I've been checking some numbers this week.
Oh no, please take your time. Take your time.
So since August 13th, okay, up to last Sunday, which is 1st of November, I already know 32 people who looked into idea of, oh, what is that? There are holes in the Quran. What is that? There are holes in the narrative. Why there is a Quran which has holes in it? 32 people become ex-Muslim. 32 of them. And for 30 of them, out of these 32, they want to look at the Christian scripture and they want to learn about triune God. And because they grew up with the idea there is only one perfect Quran. Now that they know they've been lied to and they cannot stay there. So what Muslims are doing is, let's get rid of these ideas. Let's get rid of these videos, and then we will still hide the information. We will still hide the information from individuals. But we live in a century, I don't think that will work. I don't think that will work. I don't know, Fadi, but if you are getting or not, I just received a Skype message from one of my moderators. Probably she's your moderator as well. It says your stream is not working. Sorry,
it is actually, they're saying there is an outage worldwide by YouTube. So I'm just directing people to Facebook, so it has nothing to do with us. It has to do apparently with YouTube. Yeah.
Okay, just checking, sorry.
Yeah, no problem. Keep going. Yeah.
So like for me, they've been lied to, and now they want to keep that information again. But there are 30 people within only like 2 months shows interest in triune God because of there are holes in the narrative. And for me, that's very positive. Even it's amazing how triune God use followers of false ideology to destroy that false ideology. And now where we are is, okay, so police is asking me to, in the beginning, police was asking me, we advise you to not go to speaker's corner. We advise you to not go to speaker's corner. Now they were making me to sign paper that I understood that they are telling me, we advise you to stop going to speaker's corner and there are consequences. Your life is in danger, blah, blah, blah. And they brought the similar paper to people who I live. And their response, I'm putting their life in danger because I'm telling Allah is false God, Muhammad is false prophet. There are holes in the narrative and showing the pictures of Muhammad. That putting the life of people who has nothing to do with Islam in danger. So Islam becomes like, I don't know, sad, ugly ideology suddenly starts hunt behind your loved ones. So just like, it wasn't about my life, but it was about my concern for their life. I had to kind of just leave. So I get a notification on Monday, and then in a couple of days I got into the Airbnb, and I am with someone's kind of room for a couple of weeks until I get somewhere else, because it's lots of practical things are difficult right now because of the lockdown, like getting a place stuff. Simply like they know they cannot stop you, therefore they hunt behind your loved ones. I think that's just like so low. It just makes me feel so sorry for Muslims, but in a sense brings me on my knees to pray for Muslims, because they are just like deceived by that false ideology, cannot take any criticism, cannot take anything, therefore they simply hunt behind your loved ones. Just so ugly.
So Sister Hatun, and I'm liking this conversation, let's keep going with that. What do you think is happened? I should say, let's go back. What do you think happened that caused all of this shift in even encroaching on someone's freedom of speech? How did we get this far in the UK, for instance? It's coming to the US, by the way. I mean, I can tell you that much.
Yeah, because of the elections.
Well, I mean,
Sorry
it was
about
before, even from before. I mean, we can see all the signs, and now it's going to even become more clearer. I mean, these entities have interfered in a lot of things, not just an election. I mean, it's very obvious that they control basically the strings, and they want things to be going their way. But we're not, as far as I'm concerned, so far we're not that far as you are dealing with. But how did the UK get that far? I mean, my goodness, this is a free country.
It's not only free country, it's also like only 12% of London is known as a Muslim, and like approximately 5% of whole country. They're like Muslim communities, like very small when you look at the numbers. And with that very much slow number, people simply can put your life in danger. Simply you can get beaten when you get out the train station. Simply you can get like creepy postages to your address, all those kind of things. And that is like while they are minority. Because it is very wrong thing in Turkey, but in England it seems you don't have a debates and discussions about the ideology. You talk about your feelings, and you can get away with lots of things. So when a follower of religion of pieces chops the head of someone in London, following day, a Muslim can simply come to the television or radio and then say, oh, because one person did crazy thing, I don't feel safe. My feelings are hurt. Therefore, the way media emphasize that, the way it comes out is, okay, so it can't be Islam because person X feelings are hurt. It becomes all about feelings instead of let's look into the ideology, what the ideology is teaching. With that, like there is a group kind of simply, oh, it's all about peace, we can't put all those radical Muslims or followers of Islam with alongside of those Muslims who don't even know what they believe. Once you turn small blind eye, like there's a saying in Turkey, you give your hand and then suddenly they take all of you. It's the same. Once people turn blind eye to small thing they have done, it takes over. We've got grooming gangs in England where over 84% of people who are involved are from Muslim community, people who are practicing Islam, where hunting those white British girls, using them as a prostitute, making money from them, and threatening all of her family stuff. We are like, government doesn't even know how many girls are being involved, because back in days when people went to complain to the police this is happening, they didn't want to be known as Islamophobia. They didn't want to hurt the feelings of Islam. Social service, police, government, everyone turned blind eye of rape of those girls. And we are talking about girls from age 9 to teenage, repeatedly being raped. I interviewed some of those girls. It's very disgusting. But the reason everything got out of the control, they are talking about like 300,000 people at this stage. Because police now reports are coming out and they don't want to publish it officially, but because people didn't want to known as Islamophobia. And that, even though like being afraid of Islam, it is now hurting the feelings of Muslims. So once you turn blind eye, your expectation is you will turn blind eye. And that's what's happening. At the beginning, people turned blind eye, and now still people are turning blind eye. Still people don't want to hurt the feelings of that person. I think it is sad.
Yeah. I think what they want to do to you and to us is this. This is what they want you to do. Just, they don't want to hear your voice. They want you to stay like this, so that even when you talk, no one can even notice that you are saying anything. And the problem that I have with this is that these are supposedly advanced, free democratic countries, and yet they're behaving worse than third world countries when they allow things like this to take place. Unfortunately, I feel like it's a comedy show that only the few, like you said, the minority, are running the show about different topics, not just Islam.
But silencing individuals, that's not the solution. Like, we learn that from history, and we will relive the history. If we do not have open debates and discussions, then it's gonna get out of control. Open debates and discussions are very, very important, and especially finding the truth. Like, as a Christian, I'm more focused on, okay, let's talk about your eternity. And I don't know that much law for the state, but in England, at Speaker's Corner, heart of freedom of speech, I am gently forced to be silent. I am told, oh, because my life is in danger, therefore don't go to Speaker's Corner to practice your freedom of speech, or don't express your views at the Speaker's Corner. Like, I'm not coming to the conclusion that is the solution. So as long as my crucified and risen Lord gives me time to breathe out and breathe in, I am planning to be at Speaker's Corner and express my views. If Quran expresses, Muslims are expressing the view of Islam about Jesus every week, they are insulting my God. I'm not saying like, my feelings are hurt when you say Jesus is not the Son of God. When they tell me triune God does not exist, when they tell me Jesus did not die and crucified and risen, it hurts my feelings. When I am told I am the worst of creatures, it hurts my feelings. But I'm saying, okay, let's have a discussion and debate about this. I'm not telling any Muslims, don't come to Speaker's Corner if you believe Jesus is not the Son of God. It is okay for everyone to critique Islam, critique Christian faith. I remember a couple of years ago, just on Easter Sunday, where as a Christian we are celebrating the resurrection of Lord Jesus Christ, there is a program on the radio talking about, oh, there are Christians who believe resurrection never took place. I find that's painful and hurtful, especially on the day of resurrection. But no one has a problem to publishing that. Yet people are having problem with me to show the pictures of Muhammad or put the holes in the Quran or tell Muhammad is false prophet. My mind just doesn't get it. And I haven't breaking any law. Like right now, actually, I'm thinking, so a lockdown will be over in beginning of December. I'm thinking, I got these 37 Qurans, and I think I achieved more than I needed. I just needed one example. I've got lots of examples, and even Muslims are publishing book about it now. And my material is all over the places. I know people are kind of putting my materials in their book stuff. I'm thinking like, just put big holes in these 37 different Qurans, and then carry them to Speaker's Corner, okay? And then practice what Uthman practiced, and then ask people to bring marshmallow, and then we just keep ourselves warm, because December and January, Speaker's Corner is very much cold. Everyone can sit down around the fire, kind of campfire, and then we talk about highlights and lowlights. That's right now what I'm thinking.
Maybe you can send them to me, and I'll send you photos of them.
No, I think it needs to be like official Qurans. It's just
and that's interesting point you mentioned. In the history of Islam, the Quran was burned.
Yeah,
nobody says anything.
Sunk.
Exactly, sunk in the Nile. Nobody says anything about it. We know that there are evidence of people tampering with the text, deleting things, inserting words that were forgotten. Nobody says anything about it. And yet, if you and I dare to say anything like this, take a page, for instance, not chew it like David, but at least take a page and burn it or write on it, all of a sudden, all hell will break loose and we become the offenders and so on and so forth. I mean, speaking of that, how many times they told us that our God is weak? How many times they mocked us that our God is asleep? How many times they said he goes to the bathroom? How come we don't get offended by that?
Yeah, it hurt. It hurt. Like, so there was a big kind of activity. I need to be sensitive about how to verbalize that. But like this Black Lives Matter movement, they burned the Bible. They burned the Bible, and it was all fine. Like no one went to chop someone's head off. Or this other thing is like coming out now when, okay, I'm not gonna verbalize that, but it's just like, I don't know, it just, I like overall I really don't know like kind of what to say. They are okay with what their prophet is, what their caliphs did, what Muslim scholars did, but in somehow they just become so sensitive about a book which simply hurts my feelings, yet no one cares about my feelings.
Well, dear sister, we all care about you, your work, and your feeling. And sadly, you know, I wish our Muslim friend. I mean, seriously, let me ask you this. I mean, do you get at least some Muslims who sympathize with you? At least they feel this, basically, they feel embarrassed about what's going on. Any of them approach you?
I've got, actually, I was reading one of the email today. One of the Muslim, so I got punched at the corner 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, maybe.
I saw that you won the boxing match, didn't you?
They broke my glasses. Those are new glasses. I had to pay for them.
Hey, they're nice glasses. Everybody was been commenting on that.
Thank you. So someone watched that video. Apparently, that video even like went to different countries, which get me some unkind treatments. But someone was like, if this is Islam, because we learned that we need to respect the woman, I don't want to be Muslim if this is Islam. I'm just like, so there is a Muslim who thinks that is wrong. Or like, I did have a call from one of the Muslim who expressed like, oh, I don't see there's any problem showing those pictures, putting holes in the Quran. I wouldn't do it, but like, I wouldn't see any problem with that. So you do have some Muslims who talks about it and then express concern about it, but the people who has followers are pushing in a sense, oh no, that's not acceptable. That is more dangerous. It is putting the life of individuals in danger just because Muhammad doesn't have six-pack or because he's taller than he's supposed to be. I'm not finding that helpful at all.
Of course not. What do you think? I mean, maybe that's a stretch. I mean, this question is really a stretch out here. Do you think the UK is paying attention to what's going on with you, for instance, and other examples like this? Are they looking at it and saying, okay, wait a minute, this is crossing the line already?
I would say not really from my experience. If police is supposed to be protecting my freedom of speech, police shouldn't be giving me a letter to say like, we advise you to stop going to speakers corner and express your views. I really don't know how many Muslims got a similar letter, or how many other Christians got a similar letter, or how many people hunt others' loved ones, or we will hurt your loved ones if you do this, all those kind of things. What I'm seeing is, I really do hope that I am wrong, but it is not a big deal. Like I got couple of international calls that I've been showed on the national television in different countries where I am identified as a woman who is blaspheming against the Prophet by showing the cartoons. Got the Ottoman punch. It's been like in those countries where kind of people are asking my death, all those kind of things, versus in Britain, I'm getting notification from the police that I am putting the life of my household in danger. Doesn't
It is really
confusing.
It's absolutely confusing to me. So where do you see things going from here for you, for instance? Are you able to go back to Speaker's Corner when things go back to normal after the lockdown?
Yeah, it's the place where I'm going to go and practice my freedom of speech by default, expressing Allah is false God, Muhammad is false prophet, and Quran is false book. By default, using the Muslim statements and then questioning Islam and preaching my glorious gospel. That's what Speaker's Corner is for. Even though apparently there are petitions are going around for me to get deported. Even someone sent me a video, I don't know if you've seen it, circulating on social media in Pakistan, in the girls' madrasa, in the girls' school. Teacher is showing how quickly chop the head of someone with the sword, with the knife. I don't know if you saw that. Like, teacher is showing that to the class. Someone sent me that video. I'm just like, I'm not sure if that is like, you are trying to show me we are so merciful that we just like cut your head quickly, or does it say something? For me, bottom line is, I have seen the heart of my God. I have seen how crucified and risen Lord, how triune God touches the heart of individuals and changes and transforms them. I have seen the application of that in this broken world. And I see a heart of Lord for the lost as well. As a Christian, by default, I cannot keep that love in me. I have to express that love. And I am in England right now. Speaker's Corner is there. And I have all the rights to go and express my views. And if anyone thinks they don't want to be in a place where there is another view, then maybe they shouldn't be there. But I'm planning to be at the corner. And right now, I think in a sense, I'm just thinking it was actually pretty upsetting. But now I won't have anyone who is gonna tie my hands regarding, police will give them the notifications, or Muslims will find individuals to hurt them, those kind of things, because I will be just by myself and get on with life. And maybe that's much better, that I can just like, this time I can make proper barbecue with the Quran. So you never know. No, I wouldn't
We
do
will
barbecue
know,
with
right?
Quran. It will be painful for stomach, but
Yeah, I'm sure we will know, courtesy of YouTube, right?
yeah.
Well, speaking of that, it looks like YouTube is back in line and everybody's excited. I never knew that people are so addicted to YouTube until today, so that's good.
Lots of Muslims are leaving Islam because of YouTube. So YouTube can serve in a good purpose.
Yeah. And the other thing is, I want to ask, I mean, do you normally go there with a team, or are you on your by yourself, by the way?
So I've got a team, DCCI ministry. So I lead a team. We go there as a team, and yeah, we kind of try to work things out as a team. But I'm not sure like how wise it is at this stage anyone to associate with me, because it is putting their life in danger as well. So I wouldn't be surprised if anyone says like, oh, we decided we don't want to be part of Hatun's team or something. That's absolutely fine for me. It would be just shame, but I'm not in a place to put anyone's life in danger.
I hear you. And we want to thank Islam Critique. He said, inshallah, and it just, YouTube came back. So Islam Critique, now you say alhamdulillah after it comes back to online, brother. So tell us about the Qira'at. Any new development in that regard in terms of your team, your research? And I want to look quickly at a couple of examples here from that Bridges translation.
So beside, I'm going to kind of use Marshmallow and get rid of them in beginning of December. So I find it was interesting, Bridges translation of the 10 Qira'at, because
which I have in front of me, by the way, right here. We want to show people what we're talking about. It's this one. That's what you're referring to. Yeah.
Yeah. So they put together. They looked at the different Arabic Qurans. They are going through approximately 30 different Arabic Qurans and putting together differences, which does change the meaning in Arabic and in English. And in that book, there are over 4,000 differences. And it is only 30% of differences are being put together. For me, Muslims don't need different Arabic Qurans anymore, because now Muslims are putting the books together. This is not just a recitation. This is not just how you pronounce it. This is changed the meaning. And that's already shut down to this stupid argument where Muslims from very young age, they learn Quran is the same wherever you go all around the world, dot by dot, letter by letter, sound by sound, word by word, exactly the same. So that's already been destroyed simply by this book. And then, of course, Shadi.
Shadi Nasser, Hikmat Nasser?
Yes. Sorry, I forgot his full name. I apologize for that. Yeah, and the book which came out recently, that already destroys the promise. Like we don't even need the dots, all those kind of things. He already puts together there were different Arabic Qurans, how they were picked, all those kind of things. Yet,
he's being attacked. He's being attacked, by the way. Are you aware of that?
Yeah. So now, like, no one cares about him. He's not expert. He doesn't know what he's talking about. His findings are false, all those kind of things. That's very common. That's very common.
So speaking of that, I mean, while you mentioned this, and I'll let you continue your thoughts. Here is on page basically 7 of the introduction of this book. Look what it says. It says, therefore, for the reader to truly experience the miracle that lies within the core of the Quran, she must read it, comprehend it, and then reflect upon it. Ibn Abbas, the companion of the Prophet Muhammad, and one of the masters of the science of the Quran, taught that the meanings in the Quran can be understood on 4 different levels. And please, everybody, listen to what Ibn Abbas says, who can understand the Quran. There are meanings available to everyone, he says, regardless of their level of education or knowledge. Number 2, there is only a group that the meaning understood by those who possess a high level of Arabic language proficiency. Apparently, Dr. Shadi Nasser doesn't qualify. Third group, meaning understood by scholars, more specifically scholars of the principles of exegesis. Shadi Nasser apparently doesn't qualify here. And the fourth group, meanings are only known to God, the omniscient. Praise the Lord. I mean, why in the world is he revealing something to me that he only understands? And which part is it? Did he highlight it for me? Anything highlighted in yellow is mine and the rest is yours? I mean, this is the kind of stuff that you read and you're really baffled. You know, what kind of a God will reveal his own words and instructions for life, for people to find the straight path, and yet not everyone can understand it?
That's called miracle of Islam. That's called miracle of Islam. And it is sad. Like, I don't know, you grew up with the idea that dot by dot, letter by letter, it's exactly the same. That stupid argument. And now when you get to see the physical evidence of it, still there is a denial. And that's not only denial is there. This time it's like, oh, Allah knows best. Oh, Allah knows best. Oh, Allah knows best. And that doesn't help anyone. It is just causing, those things are causing, like, I do better dawah than Muslims. Like, those are causing Muslims to give up Islam. I can come up with better arguments than Muslims on when it comes to the different Arabic Qurans, because they are hiding behind the things. Therefore, when Muslims find that out, actually, thought shouldn't be different, but it is very much different. So what are we going to do about it now?
We have somebody here by name Abu Hizab. And Abu Hizab, which by the way, Abu Hizab هذا اسم مضحك جدا لأنه ما حد يسمي اسمه أبو حزاب يا متخلف. فأبغاك تكلمني بالعربي, okay? I want you to type it down in Arabic if you want, because you're claiming that you know Arabic. Go ahead, put it down in Arabic and speak to us. Go ahead, we'll wait for you. We would like to hear from you in Arabic. Write it here. We would like for you to explain to us your Quran. I'm going to read some examples for you right now, and I'm going to show you who is going to get the last laugh. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so when you look at the Bridges translation of the 10 Qira'at, there are over 4,000 variations within the different Arabic Qurans. And that is different in Arabic, and that is different when it translated to English. It is not just a recitation. And for Muslims, there is a problem if there is only one. But Muslims are publishing books and saying he's minimum 4,000 of them. I find that's just amazing. And it does change the meaning.
It does.
Gives you a problem.
Absolutely. In fact, one of my dreams is to try to classify these variations that are found in there, because, let's go, for instance, for example, and I'm sure you are very familiar with it, obviously. The very first chapter of the Quran, which is kind of funny. You start with a problem already. That's the Quran for you right there.
That's Allah's eternal prayer.
Exactly. Allah is basically saying, Maliki Yawmiddin, or Maliki Yawmiddin. That's Surah Al-Fatiha, the first chapter, verse 4. So, is he the possessor of the day of judgment, or is he the king of the day of judgment? And here the authors say, it's a beauty of the Quran. There is no difference between the two. Really? I thought when you possess something, it's totally different than you are being just a king over something. One means you received it from someone else. Let's put it this way.
Is it not in, I think in Genesis chapter 14, this word is being used as differently in Arabic Bible. But when we look at the Islamic tradition, what we see, maybe like Muslims kind of just think, oh, one of them is like king, other one is the owner. When we look at the early Muslims who kind of tells us like how Islam put together all this junk, Tabari strongly disagrees with the Hafs version of the Quran. He says it shouldn't be the Malik. But in somehow, today's Muslims majority are using the Hafs Quran, which Tabari was disagreeing with. And you've got list after list, they are arguing about it. You've got conversations after conversations. They are arguing about which one it's supposed to be. Therefore, it was a big deal. And it is a big deal today if you are training your children and telling them dot by dot, letter by letter, sound by sound, it's exactly the same.
Yeah. And also, there's another interesting thing about this verse. Abu Hanifa Nu'man, who is the founder of the Hanafi school, by the way, has his own reading. And he used the third variation of this. And he says he took possession of the day of judgment. Not the possessor. No, he took position. Malaka. When I said this one time, I think it was a year and a half ago, Ijaz Ahmed hit the roof. He just was beside himself. He couldn't believe that I dared to say something like this. And you know what is so interesting is some of the scholars classify the reading of Abu Hanifa, who was, by the way, known some of the companions of Muhammad, met with them, they say, oh, that's shawad, that's kind of like heretical reading. Of course, because it's embarrassing, right?
Yeah, so he didn't have before, and then there was a time and place he has it, and then he puts that in his eternal prayer. That's all.
Yeah.
That is only like big theological questions. One of the things you will notice, I'm sure you already noticed, that lots of Muslim missionaries actually don't know the basics about their own teachings. They know how to attack Christian scripture or other faiths, but they've got no good news to share it. Therefore, when they find out what their tradition says, they will be surprised and they will be disappointed. And they will go through personal attacks. I find just so sad. If that's okay, I'll give you a couple of examples from the book.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Go ahead. I mean, I have the book here, but it'll be good if you want to go through some of these examples. And it's kind of interesting, by the way, that, you go through the book and there is all kind of dancing around about the differences on how things may appear to mean.
Yeah.
And then the gentleman, or maybe the committee who wrote this, they stated, well, you have to read it with humility and humbleness in order for you to understand it. Okay, well, I hope you are reading it in humility and humbleness, Sister Hatun.
It's not only like there's a bigger problem. Like instead of like being humble and all those kind of things, only the correct recitation is going to intercede for Muslims on the Day of Judgment. And what we see is, according to Islamic tradition, Hafs wasn't the correct recitation. People had lots of problem with Hafs Quran. And I do concern because I'm gently forced to see my Lord is being concerned for the soul of Muslims because they are not reciting the right recitation. They are not gonna make it. According to their own sources, according to Christian scripture, they are not gonna make it because they do not believe Jesus is the eternal Son of God. That's kind of different, but even according to them, they're not gonna make it because early Muslims are telling us Hafs was not the right recitation, but in somehow people just picked him. Magic.
Well, I mean, did any Muslim ask themselves this question? Why would Uthman destroy the writings of the companions who were with the Prophet and decide on using his own, supposedly? That's if the tradition really took place the way it's described to us. That's where Yasir Qadi comes handy. He said there are holes in the narrative, and he's absolutely correct when you read that. So we thank him for that contribution.
Yeah, but we can't send him flowers or chocolate because he took the video down. He couldn't stand behind his word.
Oh, we have the video for him if he likes it.
Yeah, we can put it up all of the channels he claims copyright.
Yeah.
I'll give you a couple of examples since you've got the book. Surah 56, verse 88 and 89.
All right. Let me.
In the book, it will be in page. Oh, I've got the PDF of it. In the book, it will be around 364.
All right, 364. We're going there right now.
For me, doesn't matter. There is one variation is more than enough, and one variation is causing Muslims to give up Islam. That's more than enough for me. And all I have is like just within a couple of weeks, just because of this whole thing, I've got like 32 people left Islam. 30 of them wants to look at the triune God. That's all matter to me. One variation.
Chapter 50, you said? Chapter 50?
Chapter 56, 88, 89.
Okay.
Page 364.
All righty. 56, 88, and 89.
Yeah.
All righty. So we're going to go there. There's 56, 88, and 89. Okay. Here is 88. You want me to read it basically in English?
Yeah, like since English is different, Arabic is different, I'm sure people wouldn't question their Muslim scholar.
Yeah, and I want to look at it in Arabic also. So in the Arabic it says, and I just want to make sure that I am, yeah, they're going the opposite way, technically speaking. So in Arabic it says faruhun wa rayhanun wa jannatu na'im. So it's describing basically heaven here.
Paradise.
In English, that's right. Is that
Islamic
the one?
paradise. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So in English, they translated it, then serenity and fragrant plants and a garden of bliss.
Okay. So if you go down the footnote,
right?
Okay.
Yeah.
And in the footnote, it says, Revised Quran is,
Right.
instead of serenity, it is a soul with fragment.
That's right. And here is why this is important, because the word ruh versus rawah, as it is here, farawhun wa rayhan, you can read the same rawh as ruh, which is spirit or soul. So here they're saying, you know, in the Arabic, it sounds like it is just a serenity,
Yep.
Where in fact it was also could be read as a spirit, ruhun wa rayhan. So how do you know which one is it? You know, because they both look the same, and we know that the early Quran did not have diacritical markings. So how can Muslims be convinced that the way I read it in Arabic, farawhun, is the correct way versus faruhun?
That's a problem, because if it is the a soul with, and that is the correct one which you are not reciting, it's not going to intercede for you on the day of judgment, and that is very serious.
That's what David Wood and I talked about the other day, about the Quran, and every chapter sometimes will intercede on your behalf. So you have
arguing with Allah.
Yeah, you have just insulted the Quran by not reading it correctly. So how are you gonna wrestle with that? The Quran gonna leave you hanging.
Yeah. And this is all like, so 29 Quran, 29 of the Quran he looks at, translated as the serenity, and only one of them, so not translated, translated as the serenity, only one of them, one of out of 30 is a soul with, and that's like very much different.
And you know, I tell you why they would have picked you know, a soul, I should say, would make sense, because you're talking about heaven, right?
Yeah.
And you would expect that's what you're going to find there. I mean, who cares about the fragrance? We're talking about the soul of people. So it would make sense to have it there, but somehow somebody decided, no, it's right the other way, because we received it this way orally. So the whole thing has holes in it. I mean, thank you, Yasser Qadi. We really appreciate you. You know, I hope he also registered that trademark, because he's going to make a ton of money out of that.
Brother, are you saying even there are holes in Islamic paradise? Come on, that would be awful for Muslims.
Yeah, but when we take his class, we'll find out.
You've got to sell your kidney to take his class.
Yeah, $49.99. That's fine. We'll do it.
Do you want me to give you a couple of more examples from the book?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Go ahead.
So I give you an example in 56. Let's go to chapter 57.
Oh, the one right after it. Yeah. Oh boy. I mean, the errors just follow each other here.
No, it's like in every page. Like in every page, there is a huge footnote. Tells even if you get the PDF version, there is a color. When you see the red in the PDF version, it tells you, attention, holes are coming out, holes are screaming out.
Yeah. And really, everybody, this is the book we're talking about. You know, it's a little expensive. I don't know if they're gonna sell it cheaper, but this is the book. You can find it. Really, I think I even got it from Amazon. It's available. Go ahead and read it, and it gives you translation of the 10 readings of the Quran, which is something unique. No one, to my knowledge, have ever done such a project before, and they're honest enough to where they give you, if you end up buying this book, a footnote, like Sister Hatun says. They give you a color code, so you can't miss it. Really, absolutely, you can't miss it, and you'll see the variation in reading something. So go ahead, 57.
57 verse 18. I never done it, but I do have option in here says share screen. Can I press that and then see if I can share
Oh
screen?
yeah, absolutely. If you
I
yeah,
hope
go
it's
ahead.
not gonna bring all of my computer on the public. Share screen.
Share screen, and you decide which one you want, an application or the window or the tab. Yeah.
Share screen with. Let's see. Oh, it's not gonna do it because it's asking me different things.
Okay.
Okay, find it. It was easy. Am I sharing screen? No.
Not yet. I don't see it yet.
Oh, I thought I was sharing screen. Application window. No, I think it's not working.
Okay, no problem. So,
sorry.
no problem. So verse 18, what are you looking for here in verse 18?
So in verse 18, you've got this wonderful word. Indeed, charitable man and charitable woman. Okay. And then when you go to Ibn Kathir and Shubai's Quran, it states, indeed, man who believe and woman who believe.
That's right. That's right. So here it's talking about al-musaddiqeen wal-musaddiqat, meaning from the word sadaqa, people who pay, tithing, charitable, they give. But the word also, I would argue, would say wal-musaddiqeen, those who believed, wal-musaddiqat, those who believed, for the female side, basically. So how do you know? Is it the one who's paying or the one who's believing? Big difference theologically. And yet the authors here keep insisting that it makes no difference. It shows you the depth of the meaning of the Quran. Well, yeah, I mean, you're going to spend like 6 years figuring out, is it the believers or is it those who give?
I'm reading it with being very, very humble. And all I can say is, I'm just seeing it as a holes in the narrative, not as like miracle or something like I should be kind of reflecting on it, but I see that as a problem.
Yeah. Sister Nada, thank you for your super chat. And thank you for the encouraging words for Sister Hatun and myself. Do you have another example? I mean, this one is huge, by the way. This one is huge because it's theological. I mean, how can any Muslim get around the theological problems? Because the whole thing is about work. What do can earn you good deeds. And this one is clearly stating paying versus, it could have read believing. My goodness, believing is even more important than doing a giving, if you wish. I'm sorry, I didn't catch the next example.
Surah 7, verse 113.
Surah 7.
Verse 113.
All
that
right.
And page 109.
All right, we'll go to page 109.
I don't know in your physical copy.
I think it should be the same copy.
But as I said, like for me, even Muslims are putting this book together while a big group of Muslims screams out, dot by dot, letter by letter, word by word is exactly the same and nothing changed. Just one word different is more than enough for me. And one word is different more than enough for lots of Muslims to give up Islam.
Right. So you said verse 104?
Verse 113.
113. Okay, so verse 113 is saying
113.
Yeah, to bring, let me look in the Arabic because I want to make sure I'm reading the correct one in Arabic. Yeah, so talking about the magicians. Is that the one you have? The magicians?
Surely there is a reward.
Okay. So, yeah, so in this, yeah.
They said, surely there is a reward.
Yeah, right. Okay, so, yes, so the footnote is saying, that's footnote C. all except one. It says, is there a reward? Is there a reward? So instead of surely there is a reward, it's talking about if there is a reward. And that's a huge difference.
Yeah, I'm not English speaker, but like even in English, that sounds like one of them is for certainty, other one is like Allah knows best, we don't know if there is. And then in the footnote, it gives you like 4 different names of the Quran.
That's right.
And then says, watch out for those Qurans.
Yeah, in Arabic, it would say, Inna lana la ajran. That's what we have right now. Surely, we're confident that we will receive our reward. But it appears one was reading it, Inna lana ajran, or, maybe it could have been read, lana ajran. I mean, so it's in a question format. Somebody's questioning, asking, are we going to get a reward? So big difference when you are not sure if you're going to get it versus you're confident you're going to get it. Yeah. This reward. Yeah.
So Arabic is different, English is different. And you can find over 4,000 variations just from this PDF.
Yeah. Thank you, Islam Critique. We are always rich by your generosity. I don't know about Sister Hatun, of course, but you're always competing with David Wood. I wish David Wood is going to learn from you, brother. I'm just teasing Islam Critique.
Actually, I'm very, I need to make a video about it, but he gave me over $10,000 just for my glasses.
Wow, that is fantastic.
I should be walking around with the glasses with gold or something.
Islam Critique, bro. I mean, what's going on here? I mean, just 5,000 will be fine.
It was only 305 pounds were my glasses, but apparently he did GoFundMe thing, and suddenly I received like nearly $10,000.
Praise the Lord. Praise the Lord.
I was gonna have facelift because someone called me. I have got pig face. I need to use that money for that. But now I think I'm gonna use that money for different purposes. Sadly.
Amen. Amen. Well, Sister Hatun, thank you so much. Of course, I know it's really late where you're at, and I mean, these are just few examples. I'm hoping that you and I will come back and talk just only readings from the beginning of a show. We'll use this. We'll use some of the findings you have, some of my own examples also. I'm going to even show some of the examples of the so-called heretical readings. I just want to show that, how do you know? I mean, here is what baffles me. They call it shawaz reading, meaning heretical. Who decided that it's heretical? The likes of Ibn Mujahid, Ibn al-Jazri, and others. These are mere men. How did they know that this is not acceptable? I mean, that's the problem with the whole history. Oh, that's where the holes are. I just want to respect the guy. I mean, he really coined the term.
We need to be careful, he might, sometimes people come up with the ideas and then they get that as a brand. So he might be charging for everyone who uses
maybe
the narrative.
Yeah. Ligar System, thank you so much for your super chat. So it's really amazing. I mean, I honestly liked what he said because I was reading at that time the history of the Quran by Naldeke, and I'm like, wow. I mean, wow, Yasser Qadi is telling the truth. But then all hell broke loose after that.
As I said earlier, it amazes me how awesome my God is. He's using people who are against the Son of the Father day after day and blaspheming against Son of the Father. He's using those individuals to destroy their own false ideologies. It just shows me how awesome my God is, how powerful my God is. He even uses people who are enemy to his son to get rid of an ideology.
Yeah, it's amazing. Well, as always, we're so thankful for you and for the work you do, and for the amazing, basically groundbreaking, discoveries that obviously there is a group of people that at a specific corner they don't like what you're doing. The Lord bless you, and the Lord continue to use you in a powerful way. He cares for you more than any of us would ever imagine, and we ask that you would continue to serve Him, because you are indeed doing an amazing work to bring glory to His name, and you bring in attention to the work that He has put you in charge to do. We are blessed. I know myself is blessed with some of your discoveries. I know Dr. J is always, blessed about the work you're doing also.
Thank you. But I think it's helpful for us to remember our risen Lord, crucified and risen Lord, doesn't need any of us.
That's right.
He can do much better work without us, because He's perfectly satisfied within Himself. He's so perfect, like He doesn't need any of us, but He's willing to use us, and He's just been gracious to me, probably more than you, that He put me in a place where I can simply practice my freedom of speech and destroy some, and He's already doing that work. So good thing is how much I mess up, how much I fail to represent Him perfectly. There is nothing can change His love towards me. So that's something I am getting more confident day after day. And thank you for having me once again.
Oh, absolutely. I'm so glad that it worked out this time. And then please, I'm going to contact you to have you back again before the end of this lockdown, because that will be the only assurance that you're not busy at the corner. So we'll have you, and we will go ahead and do one on the readings. I'll prepare some material. You can prepare some, and we'll go through it. I'll even, I don't know, Islam Critique is listening to us. I'll dare to see if he wants to join us in a panel discussion. Let's see if he agrees or not. But all that to say is it will be fun to have you again. Thank you so much for your wonderful time. May the Lord bless you and protect you. And thank you, everyone, for joining us. And thank you for the amazing work the moderators are doing. Sorry about the technical hiccup at the beginning for some of you, but please go ahead and watch the beginning of the video. There was some interesting stuff that Sister Hatun was sharing with us. So hopefully you'll be blessed by all of the information that she was sharing. Again, thank you, everyone. God bless. This is Al Fadi, over and out. And yes, I did steal this from Dr. J, and he can sue me